Hey guys, so I want to talk to you today about the approaching due dates of babies that you've lost and how it feels to come up to these due dates, but also how you can look after yourself really well when this happens and just navigate your way through this really shitty, awkward, emotional time with a little bit more grace and compassion for yourself. So this video comes about from the emails that I've been getting from you. You've been enjoying my book, so thank you so much for your feedback. It honestly means the world to me that something I wrote through some of the hardest years of my life means so much to you now and is helping you now. So thank you so much for emailing me if you've read the book. If you haven't and you're interested, I'll leave a link below that you can go and check it out. But like I was saying, this video came about after an email, and the woman who sent it to me was talking about how her due date for her baby, who she lost at about 22 weeks, was approaching, and how she felt like the wheels were really starting to fall off, and how she thought she'd come so far in her grief, and yet it just felt like it was building up and it was even more overwhelming than it had been. So I just wanted to talk about it today because this is not something normal people have conversations about, and I think it can be helpful to have someone maybe echo some of the things that you might be feeling and just, hear a little bit of advice that you probably don't hear elsewhere. So if you are brand new here and you don't know my story, I lost 3 babies in about 12 months. I'll leave the link below if you want to go and find a little bit more detail about that particular story. But specifically, I want to talk about the approaching due date of the first baby I lost. So the first baby I lost at 16 weeks. So we did deliver, we had a birth, and his due date will always feel more significant to me, I think, because of that. The other 2 losses, while still killed me, they were different because I didn't give birth. And this is not to say one or the other is more painful or less painful, they're just different, and I personally approach his due date differently. I definitely tried to go down the road of trying to be pregnant by the due date. I wasn't trying to replace him, but I definitely had this maybe subconscious idea that the due date would be easier to deal with if I had something really positive to look forward to. So maybe that's where you're at, maybe that's what you're thinking. It didn't work out for me, so I can't actually tell you whether it would have been helpful. I do remember that I really tried to forget about the due date, and I really tried to not think about it and just keep busy doing all of the other things, and it didn't work. I found myself one day going on a walk, and I was walking down to the beach. I was just feeling really emotional and not myself, and I sat down and I sat in the sand dunes. And I should have known it was like this, not a conscious thing that I was doing, but obviously somewhere my subconscious was taking me to this place. And we spread Orion's ashes in those sand dunes as these beautiful yellow flowers. Oh. There's these beautiful yellow flowers that grow there, and I wanted to scatter them there at the beach at a place that we always go to as a family so that I didn't think this video would be so hard. So that we could feel him there whenever we were there as a family. Anyway, it was the month that he was meant to be born. And we had already scattered his ashes previously, and I found myself there without even really thinking about it. And I had sat down and I decided I would do a meditation, and all of a sudden I was just bawling, and then I realized dates, and I was like, that's why I'm here. And at that point I just kind of gave into it and let all of my emotions out, and I felt so much better afterwards. I felt connected to him. But it was a release. And ever since then, I've treated dates very differently. Instead of pushing them away and trying to sort of forget about them or distract myself through them or just endure them, I really try now to not celebrate, but maybe commemorate is the right word, and know that they're coming up because I know that I'm going to be emotional around them, and find a way to make them as positive as I can be and look after myself as well as I can be on those dates. So whether it happens to be that you end up celebrating the due date, whether that's most meaningful for you, or whether the day that you gave birth is most meaningful, or perhaps the day that you lost your babies is most meaningful, whichever dates you feel are most significant for you. So I think most importantly, you have to make sure that you're going to be okay on these dates. So whether that means you take them off from work, whether it means you surround yourself with lots of people who love you, or do the opposite and take yourself somewhere you can be on your own. I think it's important to sit with and connect with what's going to work best for you. I've spoken to some women who watch the sunrise with their partner on that morning and just have a talk about their baby. Some people take a moment after other children are in bed of a night, have a glass of wine and toast their baby. If you are religious, there might be a religious practice that you do. Some women like to write to their babies at this time. Some women even have a cake to celebrate their baby with the rest of their family. So it doesn't matter what it is, and some things will feel right for you, some things will feel not right for you. You really have to find what works for you. For me personally, I like to take some time in silence by myself. I really need that to gather my thoughts and my feelings. I like to write. For me, that's how I process and it gets things out. And then I actually like to be surrounded by people. I don't like to be on my own. Why is this so hard? Yeah, I like to be surrounded by people and my family and really remind myself of why I went through all that we went through, and it was to complete our family, which we've done now. Wow. I did not think I would be so emotional through this video. I just really wanted to talk about how hard due dates are and how important it is to really take the time to look after yourself at this time. Try not to ignore the dates because the emotions are going to come up anyway. And if you can, find a way to commemorate your baby in some way. Find a way to make it special. You could plant a tree, you could write a poem, you could light a candle. It doesn't matter what it is, it just has to feel really good for you. Thank you again for being here. I hope this video helps in some way. Thank you for bearing witness to my tears today that I didn't even know were lurking there. Namaste.